What's up, and welcome into Under the Hood with me, Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast. We're presented by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. I got a big event, boom, right there. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago presents me, Jonathan Hood, and it's going to be at Ewan Rise and Company, the front room, 19 South Wabash Avenue, on the second floor. I'll be there at 6:30, between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. We're going to talk a lot about life, about finances, about getting your life jump started into 2026. So glad that Neighborhood Housing Services is going to have me this Thursday. If you're in the area, stop on by. If you love cigars and if you love the fine spirits, they've got that flowing right there at Ewan and Rise and Company, 19 South Wabash Avenue, presented by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. I hope that you are having a terrific Tuesday as we record this, as we talk about the NBA and the Bulls. CJ Taylor is going to be with us. We'll get a chance to talk to Charles Taylor about the Bulls and the kind of wild road trip that they had, and also how they were able to beat one of the best teams in the NBA from a talent standpoint, the Denver Nuggets. We'll get into all that with CJ Taylor coming up right around the corner from the CTJReport.net. Hope that you support him because he supports us right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Some things we got to talk about. I'm wearing an Under the Hood long sleeve t-shirt, and you can be able to pick up a hoodie or a t-shirt from Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. It's in my bio. We hope that you can be able to check that out. It is getting chilly and almost downright cold in some places around the Midwest and the Northeast. So make sure that you support the podcast, that you subscribe to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. It's in my bio. Check it out. It doesn't cost you anything to look at some of the things that we have as far as our merchandise is concerned, whether it's mugs or tumblers, T-shirts, or hoodies. Support Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. You're watching, so we've got the merchandise for you to tell people, yep, that's what I listen to, Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Well, we will talk about the NBA. There's a lot of news and notes we'll get to around the association. There's a lot of stuff. We got go to a lot of different places around the NBA. But first, let's go to the land before we talk about the Chicago Bulls, Cleveland. So the league has fined the Cavaliers $100,000 for violating the NBA player participation policy by resting both stars Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley during a November 12th game without proper injury designation. The policy aims to ensure that marquee players are not routinely withheld merely for rest, promoting competitive balance and fan engagement. So clearly, other teams may adjust how they manage outings for star players to avoid sanctions. But again, the league is trying to get away from this load management situation. And the Cavaliers did not say that either player was necessarily hurt. And Mitchell and Mobley being out, the league says, no, you're not doing this. You're going to get fined $100,000. Now, to a lot of multi-million dollar teams, maybe it doesn't hurt as much. But, to the fans, that want to see Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, whether it's home or road, it's kind of like, okay, this is not who we are. We want to be able to showcase our stars as much as possible. And so $100,000 fine to the land, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, you want to see the stars when they're able to play. How about Giannis Antetokounmpo? Giannis Antetokounmpo, in a game I was actually watching on Monday night. I was watching Monday Night Raw, I was watching Monday Night Football, and I was watching the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks star forward sustained a left groin strain in the game against the Cavaliers, expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks. At the time of the injury, Giannis was putting up an elite line. He was 32 points a game, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 63% shooting. He has just been absolutely dominant. And I watched when he left the floor. I'm like, oh, man, he was holding his thigh when he was leaving the floor. I just thought, oh, he'll come back, or maybe he'll come back the next game. No, that's a left groin strain, and so now the Bucks will have to lean on secondary players for the short term, and they're going to monitor his recovery day by day. But they want to make sure that he's good, so they don't rush him back on the floor. But yeah, one of the stars of the league, Giannis, is out, and even though you may not believe the Bucks can be able to win the championship again this year because of other teams in the West or the East, Giannis and the Bucks are still a team to look at, because they're going to be formidable if they stay healthy, especially down the stretch. Giannis, don't forget about him, man. I mean, he's still a great player When he comes back, 32 points a game, 11 rebounds, like seven. I mean, yeah, he's a really special player. Something else about an injury. Last time we talked about the NBA, we were talking about John Morant. John Morant, he was ruled out with a calf strain. It's a grade 1 strain, and so he's going to be out. I know that he's disenchanted with playing with the Memphis Grizzlies. So, I mean, he's still a key playmaker for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's going to be out with that calf strain. So we'll keep our eyes on that. And also, let's talk about Steph Curry. So Steph Curry, and I know that people don't want to hear this, especially if you're a Michael Jordan fan, and many are. At age 37 and his 17th season, the Golden State Warriors star is making headlines again, recently tying Michael Jordan's record for the most 40-point games by a player over 30. His coach Steve Kerr weighed in on the comparisons. Is like he thought it was just incredible how Curry continues at age 37 to play at an elite level, demonstrating longevity and adaptability. His performance really reinforces how critical he remains to the identity of the Golden State Warriors. There's no question about that. But think about that. Still getting it done, 40-plus point games, the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. There's great scorers, there's great shooters, there's great basketball players. It's the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. Steph Curry is a special, special player. I just remember as a kid that everybody wanted to be able to dunk the basketball because of Michael Jordan, because it was the 80s. Everybody wanted to do that. And now you take a look at even, the little tykes that are out there shooting the basketball, they want to shoot it from the moon because they see Steph Curry do it, because that's the next innovation of the league, is how you're able to shoot the basketball as far and wide as possible. So shout out to Steph Curry. He's going to eclipse Michael Jordan for that particular mark that we just talked about, which is amazing. We do have more news and notes around the NBA that we're going to get to. As I mentioned, we're going to talk to Charles Taylor, his thoughts about the NBA. And also, I got some surprise news and notes, as always, for him as well regarding the league. But don't forget, we are presented by, boom, Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Get out of that stuffy loft and that apartment. Go to nhschicago.org. That's exactly where you go for Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. They will help you with the process of being able to buy a home, and tell them Jay Hood sent you when you go to nhschicago.org. Let's talk Bulls with Charles Taylor right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. There he is. There he is, folks. There he is. You see that smile? If you're listening on the podcast, Charles Taylor is actually somewhat happy because the Bulls won a game and they defeated the Denver Nuggets. Charles Taylor, CTJReport.net, joins us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Sir, appreciate the time as always.
Appreciate you having me as always. And yeah, they actually brought a smile to my face last night.
I want to talk to you about this. But here's the question I want to ask you to start with. So, because of the losing streak going into the Denver game, in which the Bulls won 130 to 127, so how valuable do you believe Josh Giddey is to the team? Here's a full sentence I never thought I'd talk to you about. Josh Giddey is the MVP of the Bulls in the early part of the season. Does that make sense?
Facts. You saw how much he was missed those couple of games that he was out. Like, you don't think they could have used him in the Detroit game where they basically got dog walked by the B team for the Pistons? You don't think they missed him during that, what was that, 5-game losing streak? They missed him because he generates the offense. He was making the offense go right now in Kobe's absence. Now we got Kobe back. It'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works. But right now, through the first 12, 13 games of the season, yeah, absolutely. Josh Giddey is your MVP. He's like, I mean, the numbers we talked about earlier that he was putting up in those last 20 games of last season, he's doing it. He's doing it this season. So it'll be interesting to see now that as Kobe gets more and more acclimated to the team and really gets into the fold, how those two can gel and work off of one another, and if Giddey can still put up those numbers. But I mean, at least as of right now, he's earning that contract he's got with the Bulls. So kudos to him.
You know, I understand that the Detroit loss is the worst loss that the Bulls have had this season because they are bereft of superstars or starters or difference makers, and the Bulls kind of laid down. I can almost say, okay, that's the league. It just happens, right? You got to have more focus. You got to be better than this. But I think that if nothing else, CJ, this gives you the microcosm of what it means to have a star that can carry you. If you're struggling, then you can go to Donovan Mitchell or Evan Mobley. But the Bulls lost. They didn't have Josh Giddey. The San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama. People don't believe me. They think I'm bullshit when I say Wembanyama still has a growth spurt. He's 21.
Mhm,
He ain't stopped growing yet, man. He still has more, but he's stepping out, knocking down threes and taking guys off the dribble at 7-3. Okay,
mhm.
so again, that's a guy that's a budding star. The Utah Jazz double overtime game. Okay, they've got really good players. It's just like the Bulls ran out of gas defensively. So I think in some cases with the losses, it's kind of like, well, this is what it takes to be able to pull out games in the fourth quarter. Where the Bulls are good, it still comes down to star power in this league.
Oh, absolutely. And you saw that was that three straight games. It was Cleveland, it was Milwaukee, it was San Antonio.
Milwaukee, yeah.
And what I talked about was, hey, the Bulls are playing hard. Like the effort is there. This isn't like, the Detroit game where they just kind of, had a mental lapse, just kind of laid down, didn't really put forth the full effort. They put forth effort, throughout pretty much all the games this season. The biggest difference is what happens when you run up against a team that has one of them once. And we saw it against Milwaukee, saw it against Cleveland, saw it against San Antonio.
Mhm.
All three of those people you just mentioned were basically the reason why the Bulls lost those games. And then we get to last night,
Yep.
where Joker just, 36, 18, and 14, I believe, and yet
Mhm.
you somehow get a win. I don't know what to make of this. I still want my mea culpa back, but I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of this because I'm just not quite sure if this win by committee, rebound by committee, shoot by committee, score by committee, is that going to be completely sustainable for 82 games? And now as Kobe's getting back into the fold, at some point he's going to start taking shots from the Kevin Herters, the Trey Jones. So now how do they fit their talents in? Because Giddy's going to get his shots. Kobe's going to get his. Io, when he gets in the game, he's not afraid to shoot or go to the basket at all. Vooch has to get his shots. How do these other guys that have been, kind of unsung heroes, in these first 12, 13 games, now how do you blend in your talents now that your quote unquote number one, guy is back?
Well, they had to be able to figure that out. I like early in the season when we saw the Bulls move the ball from side to side and get in the open man. I mean, the one thing that we know through the first, 10, 15 games that the Bulls can shoot the ball. They have a prolific shooting profile. If nothing else, we know that the Bulls are capable of scoring in bunches. When you score 147 in the game against the Jazz and lose, I mean that's tough, man. That means
Mhm.
defensively you are really not playing well, but offensively you give them credit that you can score 147 points the way they did, 130 in the Nuggets game that we just saw against the Denver Nuggets. So the offense is capable, but I just think that as much as we admire how the Bulls are able to empower one another to be able to score the ball and get good shots and get to the basket, all that, hey man, defensively against Utah and against Detroit, the way that they let the lead slip away, like that's no good either. So on both ends of the floor, you're good enough, but maybe not can't win a lot of games the way they have because they don't have the star to put it on their back. But on the other side, hey man, if you don't have a star, you got to be better defensively. And so in these games where you're giving up bunches, man, that's just a witch's brew. That's tough.
Yeah, you even saw that last night, in the Denver game. They got out to that
Mm-hmm.
15-point lead in the second quarter, couldn't hold it. Got a 13-point lead going into the fourth quarter, as a matter of fact, couldn't hold it. Those are the type of games where once you get that 15, 18-point lead, I know it's the NBA and 18, 20-point leads mean nothing, in this era of 3-point shooting. But if you're not going to have that guy, If you're not going to have a Giannis, if you're not going to have a Joker, if you're not going to have a SGA, then you better be able to lock some people down when you need to. And you can't
Yeah.
have these lapses where, teams are going on 14-2 runs, 17-2 runs, or things like that, where your lead just evaporates. And now you got to find, another gear,
Yeah.
to try to outscore them. That's what basically messed them up in the Utah game. Whereas they expended so much energy trying to keep up with them, but they just couldn't stop anybody. And that's pretty much the worry that Bulls fans are going to have this year. They're not great defensively. They just aren't.
No, but here's the positive though. Okay, again, it's just kind of like looking through the checklist of things that you can do to be able to win a basketball game. So when you get 66 points from the bench, okay, so now it makes me think if is that sustainable that you can get that kind of production off the bench. I think it can be to an extent, but that's great support. That's great energy coming off the bench when you score 66 against a good Denver Nuggets team. Like,
Mm.
so you can score, but again, on the margins, you've got to be able to stop guys. So if you don't think you have a top 20 player on your roster, then that means you don't have a top 20 player defensively either. Just keep that in mind. Like you, so if you don't think you have a top 25 player, top 30 player, like Kobe White, I think is top 25 when healthy. Like someone's got to be 25. So
Mhm.
say he's 25. Okay, so you need to be able to have guys that are top 25, top 30 to be able to stop guys.
Mhm.
Oklahoma City is, well, I wish the Bulls had a Lou Dort or like, a quality player that's willing to shut you down and be able to take the hard foul or just take on any guy. We had a guy like that with a headband, did we not? That would take on 1 through 5. Did we not have a guy like that? Did he win a
Yeah,
championship?
yeah, I know, but he liked to punch people, so
That's right, right. So I mean that's something to consider. Like the Bulls are scrappy, and they've got some players, but I mean it has to be a team effort for this to happen, for this to work every night.
yeah. And if Isaac Okoro is your best defender,
Yeah.
that's not going to cut it for 82 games. That's not going to cut it if you should happen to get into the playoffs. And now you got to start seeing again the Clevelands or the 76ers or whomever, the Orlandos, whoever's going to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, New York, those caliber of teams. If, like you said, if you can't defend, and if your best guy is basically a bench player who's your best defender, I don't see how far that gets you in NBA. It can get you some wins over an 82 game season. You'll beat some teams you're probably not supposed to beat over an 82 game season. Once you get into May, when the games really count, at that point, I I'm still concerned. I just don't see how this is sustainable. And if AK is not going to be interested in finding that dude,
Mhm.
gets back to what I said before the season started. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, reality is going to set in when you take on better teams. But I mean, I like the compete level offensively. If nothing else,
Mhm.
the compete level is there for the Chicago Bulls. But there's going to be many nights where they're just going to get outscored because there's going to be a quality player offensively that's just going to carry the team. So if I asked you, who are the top 3 players on this Bulls team during this stretch that you enjoy watching? Who are those 3?
Giddy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to give you surprisingly Kevin Herter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the way he's been able to shoot the ball and move without the basketball. And third, I'm gonna give you Io. I'm gonna give you those 3 right off the bat. Probably is my top 3. We'll see what happens now once Kobe gets involved, how they're able to mesh and gel. I guess my other problem with this is I just mentioned 3 perimeter players for the most part.
Yeah.
What are they going to do, down low in the post? Because I don't know if you've watched Vooch over these last 4 games or so. He
I
is
have.
not moving. He's not moving the way he he was moving once the season started. He's slowed down a bit, and that was another one of my concerns: is how is this dude at age 35 going to be able to continue keep running up and down with these kids? Because that's basically what the Bulls are. It's a bunch of kids right
Yeah.
now with the you know uh, a couple of guys who may be a little over 30 or right at 30. This is a young group. Vooch can't keep up with this group. He, and he's not, and it's showing in his production. His production is, just gradually kind of slid off, as especially during this losing streak as well. I don't know how you integrate him and keep him in the offense the way they like to run up and down the floor. Um, yeah, that's another thing that Billy Donovan is going to have to, try to figure out. And for them to win that game last night, I know Vooch hit the big three, to put him up four that basically sealed the game for him. But what won the Bulls that game last night was when he put in that undersized, fast second team. And they just ran up and down the floor and just started, ripping off points and runs. That may be the Bulls' future for the rest of the season, where we may not see Vooch in bunches until it's crunch time, where you need a little floor spacing. Maybe you need somebody down low, but outside of that, I think this is going to be a small, undersized team that just likes to get up and run.
Vucevic did knock down that key three, even though he didn't play well against
Yeah.
Denver. He did give you gave you that space three, and there was games against the Cavaliers, just 15 points and 3 rebounds. I mean, he should walk in the gym with 20 and 10, as I always say. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
really no excuse. I mean, you've got to be able to provide that size on the inside. I know he can shoot it. There's no doubt. He had 21 and 13 against the Jazz, but everybody scored in that game, including Kobe White. Everybody scored in that game because he had 27 points, 8 assists, and made all 14 free throws.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Honestly, God, I was there at draft night at the Advocate Center the night he was drafted. That's back in the day, CJ, when I would have a 6.5 hour draft show on ESPN 1000. It would just be me, Nick Friedel, and Chris Bleck, and we start at 6, right? And I'm just doing this like the old Tarico coverage, just presiding over the draft. It had my binder, had my binder here with just the notes, old school binder. Just open it
Yeah.
up and I had all these notes here. Don't need the notes now because I'm not doing the draft shows anymore.
Yeah.
But I would have this binder, have all the information in front of me, and we would go through the night. And I just remember when Kobe was drafted, I was just like, God, undersized 2 guard. Yeah, if his name's not Derrick Rose at a 1 or a 2, I don't want to see it. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't think that I didn't think he'd be a bust. I just didn't think he'd be very good. It's amazing what's happened with Kobe White, that he's had the opportunity to say, here, young man, show what you can do. You're not going to be buried on the bench. You can be able to score now. Now that Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are off the team, it's your time. And so he actually has been better than I thought he would be as a Bull. Now, again, I'm not saying that he's a star. I think that's clear.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am saying is that given the opportunity, Kobe White's done a really good job of just being able to take advantage of the minutes that he's gotten and be able to knock down the shot. So shouts out to him. I just didn't think he'd be that good, but actually he has come through many times for the Bulls offensively.
Well, here's the thing: as my light is having issues, and try to get
Hey
some
man,
other
that
light.
bill, you need to pay
Yeah,
that
that
bill.
that that
Step up.
bill
Yes.
is can mess with you from time to time. But here's the thing with Kobe.
I understand, man. I understand.
Here's the
Please
thing
go
with
ahead.
Kobe.
Uh,
Kobe really earned his chops while Zach was out with injuries. While Lonzo Ball had injuries, while uh, uh, DeMar had his injuries. Not a ton of them, but that's where he was really maybe earn his keep and got some playing time that maybe otherwise he may not would have gotten. If all those guys had remained healthy all the time.
mhm.
And with that, he was able to do some things on the court. People started taking notice. He improved his game, with each off season, and now he's a dependable, borderline all star. that you can depend on, to carry your team. Now, on other teams, contending teams, he's your third option. Yeah,
Yep. Oh yeah.
on a contending team, but because of how the Bulls are structured right now, he's your number one right now. But that doesn't take that's not taking away anything that he's been able to do and just elevate his game from year to year. I think though we're at the ceiling. I think we're at the point where I'm not sure how much more you can get out of his game. And if that's the case, then you got to start asking some other questions.
Yeah, I mean, but the status quo Bulls, like I know that there's going to be a contract conversation that we're going to have about Kobe White or whether or not he's going to be around for the
Mhm,
deadline, all that. We're going to
mhm.
be interesting conversation about where Kobe White's going or if they're going to keep him around.
Yeah, and what do you do if you're if you're AK? Because he's going to get you 25 points a game. He's going to get you 3-4 assists a game. He's going to do all of those things for you to make the case for him to earn a max contract. Now AK has to decide, if he's actually going to be worth that max contract. And then here we go again. This is a lot like the Zach, you know, the Zach debacle.
Mhm.
Do you pay this dude? Do you not pay this dude? That's the area that we're in with Kobe. It, probably with the exception that we would all agree here that Zach LaVine was a much more talented player, in terms of his explosiveness, his ability to score, things like that. Kobe's like a step beneath that. So now, what do you or how do you pay him? A max contract is probably the question that I think AK is going to have to answer and answer quickly.
I got a couple of news and notes for you as always.
News and notes.
I love it. I know you love a good news and notes. Do you need a light? Are you good, man? Do
Nah,
you need a
I'm
little?
good now. Yeah,
Okay.
the technical difficulties have been worked out.
I just thought I'd help if you just needed a little light. I think we all could lose a little light,
Yeah.
a little light in our life. So I'm just seeing if you need some help. No, okay, all right. I know you love a good news and note. We got a number of them. Okay,
Okay.
I want to get your because I always love your reaction to this because we don't rehearse this. I just always have something for you. How about this? How about this from Steve Kerr, who's like a worried mom. He always is worried about certain things. He loves to speak out on stuff, right? So Steve
Mm-hmm.
Kerr, Chicago Bulls own Steve Kerr. Don't forget now, Chicago Bulls own Steve Kerr.
That's
And I
right.
know he's been. No, I mean, Steve Kerr is the dude that walks down the street and he falls into a manhole, and he comes
Mm-hmm.
up. He goes, "Man, oh my God, where did I get this $1 million? Where did I find these $1 million? I guess I put him in my pocket." That's who Steve
Yeah.
Kerr is. He just walks into a place, falls into a manhole, is just like dusts himself off. He goes, "How does $1 million happen?" Meaning that he goes to a place, wins a championship,
Mm-hmm.
wins several championships, goes to the right spot, had a choice to go to Golden State or the Knicks. The Mecca, New York, Knicks, West Coast, Golden State. You know what? I'll take Golden State. And wins the championships
More,
at
more
Golden
championships, more
State.
rings.
He's just he's amazing, man. He just always makes the right decision because he's Steve Kerr. But
Yeah.
here's a story about Steve Kerr. Here's the quote. Okay, so according to ESPN research, Charles Taylor, the league is playing at its fastest average collective pace since the 88-89 season.
Hmm.
Okay, so across the league, everyone understands that it's easier to score if you beat the opponent down the floor. But when everyone's doing that, the games are much higher pace. Everyone's got to cover out to 25 feet because everyone can shoot threes. We got all the data. Players are running faster and further than before. We're trying to do the best we can. What he's talking about is moving the NBA regular season schedule from 82 games to 72 games, believing that a bit of extra rest and practice time over the course of several months would pay dividends. He's talking about like how we literally haven't had a single practice on this road trip. Well, that's saying something. Warriors have not practiced, huh? We've been gone a week or longer, 8 days, not one practice. It's just a game, 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 game. He says there's no time for practice. The Warriors are already on their 5th back-to-back in the first month. They played Orlando on Tuesday night and in Miami on Wednesday night to close out a 6-game road trip. After the Miami game, they have played a league-high 17 games in 29 days across 12 cities. You know what that sounds like to me? Professional basketball. What the fuck? Like it's 17 games in 29 days in 12 cities. It's better than it was. It used to be like, 3 days and 4 nights or 4 days and 5 nights. So he's complaining because it's Steve Kerr, because he's got a thought on everything, that we lessen the regular season so that way players have more time for practice. That's actually, to me, that is eye-opening that he admits to the press, yeah, we haven't practiced. You haven't? Okay.
All right. Question: has he run this by his bosses, the owners of the Golden State Warriors? Because I'm sure they would like to hear, hey, here's what we should do: have 10 fewer games on the docket for the season, potentially 5 fewer, home games.
Yeah.
That'll be fine, just so we can practice more. I'm sure that's going to go over quite well with his owners and the rest of the owners around the league. Come on, Steve. Let, let let's let's pump the brakes on that. Listen, I know load management when I hear it. Just because you warped it in this little thing of, oh, we don't practice enough and we need to lower the games. Just say your team is old, or
All right.
just say your team is old and running an 82 game season at that pace where the average score is like 130 to 125 every night. Just say your team can't keep up. It's okay. You had a great run with Steph and the boys at Golden State. You won a bunch of championships. Be happy with that. The, the fact that Golden State can't, practice. Yeah, yeah. I know. Uh, I know political jargon when I hear it.
I'm just tripping on the data that says that this is the fastest that the league has played since 88-89. So can I just give you some names? Because I'm a sophomore in high school at that time.
Okay.
So 88. Yeah, 88. I'm a sophomore in high school at St. Francis de Sales. So we're talking about, CJ, Kareem.
Mm-hmm. 38-year-old Kareem.
I think that's correct, actually. Like Danny Ainge. I'm just going through some of these names, like John Bagley, Thurl Bailey. Shout out to
Ooh,
Thurl Bailey from Utah, still
yeah.
doing broadcasting for the Jazz. Charles Barkley, still in his prime. Benoit Benjamin. Larry Bird is on this, like Rolando Blackman. Man,
Mm,
they were getting up and down the floor, huh? I mean, I didn't
mm.
know that these got Tom Chambers, Rex Chapman, Dallas Comagese, Dave Corzine for the Bulls. I didn't know he was getting up and down the floor, Corzine, like that. Wow, Quentin Daly with the Clippers at that time.
Mm.
With Quentin Daly. I mean, Johnny Dawkins, Vinny Del
Ooh.
Negro. I got to text Del Negro. I haven't talked to him in
Ah,
a while. Patrick Ewing, like so the prime of like 88, 89, right? This is why we
mhm,
get the NBA on NBA on NBC theme, because it's a celebration of that time. I did for a league that was in the painted area. A lot of stuff was from the foul line down. Not a lot of
mhm.
shots from the outside. They say the pace is as fast as that. That can't be right. That can't be right. Up and down the floor like that. The only team that was fast like that was Golden State. That was the Tim Hardaway
Yeah.
run TMZ
Right.
teams. Like
Yeah.
that was a treat, right? You put it on, Bulls playing on the West Coast, like, oh shit,
Mhm.
look how fast these guys are going. How can the Bulls stop them, right? Because it was like Chris Mullin and Tim
Yeah.
Hardaway and just like Mitch Richmond,
Mhm.
guys like that. It's just like, but I'm baffled by that stat.
I, I I refuse to believe that's accurate. You just named a bunch of players that were playing in 88, 89. Outside of Golden State, the only other team that I could think of that would probably not, because Gary Payton wasn't even there in Seattle yet. I was
Don't
gonna
think
say a
so.
Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, combo where they like to get out and run, but I think Gary didn't get into the league until 1990. So yeah, Who was playing fast like that, Hood? Just, just let me know.
Okay, so the 88 was the All-Star game at the Chicago Stadium.
Yeah.
In which Dominique should have beat Jordan. But that's not how it went though. Hey man, I'm just telling you, Nick was nice, but it was Michael Jordan's house, so I get it.
We're not ready for that conversation though.
Everybody want to debate LeBron and Michael. How about Meek and Michael at the All-Star game at the slam dunk competition? What about that? So I'm just going to give you, because we got some other news and notes I want to talk to you about, but just so the pace at this time in 88 is commensurate of what we see today in the space. So just understand, Isaiah Thomas, I'm just giving the All-Star game. I'm just giving the All-Star East and West. Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Larry Bird, Moses Malone. Because Malone, boy, he was flying up and down the floor, man. Was flying up and down the floor. Danny Ainge, Patrick Ewing, Doc Rivers, baby. Doc Rivers, by the way, awkward exchange with his own son on the NBA on Peacock last night. Just real brief. So Doc Rivers is in the back with his son, and his son's out the league. And he's not on an NBA roster. He's working for Peacock now, right? And so his son goes, one question, Doc. He goes, "You're calling me Doc, baby?" And his son's like, "Yeah, tonight I'm calling you Doc. Yes, I'm calling you Doc." He goes, "Doc, I have a question. How come you couldn't give me the mid-level on the Bucks? How come you got me in this suit? How come you didn't give me a mid-level to be on your team?" He goes, "I don't even want to know. Back to you." And he threw it back to Michael Grady in the booth. They've always had a strange relationship.
Yeah.
Doc and his son. Very strange.
Yeah.
It's all basketball. It's never strange. Anyway, so Doc Rivers didn't even get his son a mid-level to be on the Bucks. So he had to retire. Wow. Wow. It couldn't even be on the Bulls.
My bad. No disrespect. But yeah, he was trash.
Was trash. Brad Daugherty, Charles Barkley, Kevin McHale, Maurice Cheeks.
Yeah, because we know McHale was just flying up and down the floor.
Oh my God.
Just
the
level of speed.
Herman Munster wheeling his way into the lane with those hook shots and just like up and unders. Like that's what McHale was doing. He was getting it done, but just like so. But again, as fast. The Western Conference. Now I can believe Magic Johnson was getting up and down the floor, and so was Michael. By the way, like those guards, Isaiah, absolutely. Those other guys, they were plotters in the lane. They were not getting up and down the floor. But Magic Johnson, fat lever from Denver, little guy that was fast. Like those are those fast West Coast teams back then, right?
Yeah.
Alex English was a hell of a shooter with Denver. Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Kareem, James Worthy, X-Man McDaniel, Mark Aguirre, Alvin Robertson, who was with the Spurs at the time, James Donaldson, and Steve Johnson were the centers for the All-Star. So compare, those are great players. A lot of them are great players. Compare those guys to today as far as speed. That's why I can't believe when it says the fastest average collective pace from 88, 89, Charles, there's just no way. From today's players, ain't no way.
Maybe they meant 99. Maybe they meant 1999.
Don't let me look now. Don't let me check. Don't let me check, man. But I just thought that was crazy. So I just wanted to share that with you. A little going back down basketball lane, memory lane. And Steve Kerr says, we haven't practiced, which is an expose on the Golden State Warriors that you have not practiced on the road. Okay. And as you sniffed it out perfectly, they have not practiced because they're old.
That's all. Just say it. Just say it. It's okay. No one's expecting Golden State to, make a serious run for the NBA title, but yeah, just go ahead and say your dudes can't do no more. I probably need to start updating my resume. Just say that.
I just think that's just bananas, man. That's just great. So let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about the incident that happened with Draymond Green. So Draymond Green was warned by the NBA after a courtside incident. Draymond Green received a warning from the league following a confrontation with a fan during a game against the Pelicans. The fan taunted him by calling him Angel Reese, referencing the WNBA star. No fine was issued, but the warning underscores how the league monitors player fan interactions. So, okay. So the fan, as you just saw, Charles, stands up and calls him Angel Reese. And then Draymond is arguing with the fan. Like Draymond wasn't kicked out, but Draymond, he hears everything. He's got rabbit ears.
Mhm.
So he calls him Angel Reese. So I want to get your reaction because I want to talk to you about this. What do you think of that story?
This is another one in this long line of fans who think they can just because they paid, really good money for a front row seat on the court, that they
Mhm.
think they could just, pop off and say anything, to these NBA players. And sooner or later, listen, just be lucky that Ron Artest is no longer playing
Oh my
right
God.
now. Just be lucky that Steven Jackson isn't playing right now. Because those were the dudes that, will actually swing on you,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
stuff like that. It, these fans, listen, you pay good money to sit there and watch a basketball game. Why would you think it was just okay to just antagonize, these players? I mean, yeah, there's always going to be some heckling, at games that you go to, and that's fine. But I think when you start to cross a line, and really make it, personal and getting up in players' faces, uh, you know, sometimes and one of these days they're going to run up against the wrong one. Now, Draymond, for whatever reason, I don't know how that man kept his composure because I was just assuming he was going to swing on him. But kudos to Draymond for keeping a level head. But um, I just look at the fans as they got to do better. Fans have just got to do better. You're passionate about your team, that's cool and all, but these players are human beings too. And, some of the stuff, I mean, the Angel Reese comment, kind of funny. But, at the same time, I can see, how somebody may take that, the wrong way. And definitely talking to Draymond, who could take anything the wrong way. Why would you
Yeah.
think about doing something like that?
Okay. So here's my thought. So Draymond Green says, here's a fan saying, "You're Angel Reese. You're Angel Reese." So what connotation are you saying there, sir? Are you saying that that Angel Reese is less than? Are you saying that Angel Reese is, and again, this is against the Pelicans. This is in New Orleans. So it's weird because Angel Reese was everything to LSU, right? So I don't
Hmm.
even understand the correlation there. So you have a problem with Angel Reese. So here's the thing. What's wrong with Angel Reese? Like, she was a great college basketball player, and just like any other young player, they have to learn. She's had some good games. She's had plenty of rebounds. I know that she gets her own
Hmm.
rebound and puts it back, and she's also coined the phrase "me bounds." All good,
Yeah.
right? But for someone that prolific, she's not going to be a bust. She may not be playing her best basketball for the Sky, and that's a Sky problem. That's definitely it's a
Hmm.
coaching problem more so than anything
Hmm.
else. The way that organization's run, it's the shits
Hmm.
from top to bottom. It's not good. I'm like from PR to like
Yeah.
it's not the Sky just not run well. So what will happen is, Charles, is that she'll go someplace and actually knock it out the park. There's not
Hmm.
nothing against her teammates. Like I think Cardoso as a center, she's going to be able to play better. She's, again, a young player, has the footwork, still green, but I think that she can still be a good player, but maybe just not with the Sky. Um, so what is that fan saying that he's saying that, hey, you're Angel Reese? What does that mean? Angel was a great college player. Are you saying that she's trash? Because she's not.
No, she's not. I believe she was an all-star. Her
I believe so.
this year, this past season and the season before. So let's not act like she's a trash player. She led the league in rebounds. Like at the four spot, she led the league in rebounds.
Yeah.
She averaged a double double. So I'm not sure what this fan was trying to insinuate by calling Draymond, Angel Reese. I mean, is he trying to say Draymond is washed? Well, I mean, that could be true, but I mean,
Yeah,
Angel's, just really getting her WNBA career started. So
I
I
don't know.
find it hard to find what the correlation is there with that. But again, kudos to Draymond for not hauling off and like decking the dude.
And
He's
that is him standing up, I think, for Angel Reese, saying, "Why would you?
Mhm,
What do you mean?" I'll say this, and we got one more story I want to ask you about, or at least tell you about, and that is, so I know that there's a number of people around the WNBA and in the city have a problem with Angel Reese. So if you think that Angel Reese has an attitude problem, or you feel like it's all about her, you know what, CJ, I don't have a problem with that as long as she plays well. Yeah,
mhm,
like, you don't have to love all your athletes. She's a Chicago Sky player. And if she wears a black hat and she feels like she has a chip on her shoulder, if that makes her play better, that's fine. But I don't like the idea, especially around here, that you have to hug all your athletes. You know what Lou Piniella said when he managed the Cubs? He was here for a year. In the offseason, he goes, he didn't spend a lot of time in Chicago. He was a Yankee and, with Seattle as a
yeah,
manager. And he said, he goes, the problem around here is you guys love to hug your athletes. Just give me 28 son of a bitches and I'll win the World Series. Like, he doesn't care about that because he used to fight with dudes in the Reds locker room. Remember, he used to fight with Rob
mhm,
Dibble? That's still on. You go to your TikTok, you'll find that, right? Him
yeah,
go rushing and attacking Rob Dibble, taking him down, right?
yeah,
So he wasn't about loving people. Like, I think sometimes the problem around here is that every athlete that was a Chicago uniform you're supposed to love. I respect Angel Reese. I just know that she's still a raw talent, and I know
mhm,
that she can get better. I just don't like the idea that, well, I don't like her attitude, so I don't want to. I'm not going to root for her. Okay, well, if she's part of a team that you root for, then why not root for her to get better and maybe support her even more so? So maybe it's because Draymond has a chip on his shoulder and attitude, and maybe Angel has that. But what's going to happen is that just like other athletes that come and gone, she is going to leave here. The star power of Angel Reese, star power,
mhm,
because it's not just basketball; it's fashion. It's her being at the red carpets and the movie premieres. Like, she is a star because of what she
mhm,
did in college. So you're gonna let that star power just leave Chicago like Kanye West when he was on his meds? You're just gonna let him you're gonna let the good Chicago people leave to LA and go to Atlanta or go to Miami or go to Dallas, whatever. Like, what I'm talking about, CJ. Like, like,
mhm,
from DJs to movie stars
yeah,
to music artists. Yeah, Shy don't love me no more. We're not throwing parties here anymore. We're not popping bottles anymore. We'll do it in LA. We'll do it
mhm.
in Atlanta. We'll do it in Miami. We'll do it in Houston. And Chicago just left holding the back. I just don't want that for Angel Reese because we've seen that before.
Yeah, I never understood that either. Like when do we have to love, all of our star athletes? I mean, uh, thinking about the Blackhawks, I mean, Patrick Kane was cool, but like Patrick Kane also had a lot of issues while he
Yes,
played here with the Blackhawks. You
yes,
know, he's not necessarily huggable. Yeah, even Michael Jordan wasn't huggable,
no,
but he won 6 championships.
that's
So
right.
that's the end result. Can this player help you have a winning team? I think Angel can be that person, but again, that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother discussion of how inept of an organization the Chicago Sky are. And we could probably talk about that for an hour. The coach should have, I don't even know why they hired the coach to begin with. It-
Yeah,
yeah, all of that. All of that said, no, you don't let someone with the star power of Angel Reese, walk out the door and you get nothing in return. You find a way to make that work because I think she's going to get better with her game. Um, I even said that during the season. It's like you have to put some talent around her, and it just can't be Cardozo, standing next to her. You
yeah.
need you need ladies who can shoot. You need ladies who can, do dribble penetration, and it's just a whole lot. And I Yeah, I don't please don't get me started on the Chicago Sky.
No, but I mean, but I just think it's a microcosm of so many other things.
Mhm.
And that's probably why we need like somebody that can give us the lifestyle of Chicago as far as culture is concerned, and media attention and like stars and artists. It's a shame you can see Common just coming into to the crib to Chicago just for a second, right? To come to
Yeah,
Chicago. Oh, I saw Common in Hyde Park. Yeah, I just came to pick up an album someplace and then fly back out. It's
yeah.
just like
I'm headed back to
it,
New York. Yeah.
yeah, I just went to Hyde Park Records. I just wanted to get some, want to pick up a few things, just get a little something to eat, and just fly back out. Like that's, I think that in a lot of ways, CJ, we're missing that in the city. That
Mhm,
vibe, like it's not. I'm not down in our city. I'm just talking about the star power in our city that
mhm.
want to live here instead of Austin,
Yeah,
or live here instead of Atlanta.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'll
yeah.
come back to the crib a little bit, then I'll just fly back out.
Yeah, I think that's why we loved Derrick Rose so much
There
because
you
he
go.
was ours. He was ours. He was from the South Side,
Yes.
and he repped Chicago everywhere he went. So I think that's why we treasure him so much in this city and always think to what could have been with him because
Yeah.
he belonged to us and he repped us and he never left, even though he went to play for all these other teams, throughout the league. Whenever he came home, it was always Derek's home, and that always felt good. So yeah, I agree with you. We got to keep our stars. Got to keep our stars here somehow, some way.
And that ctjreport.net, you can go look in the archives and see Charles writing a 2,000 word manifesto on why he's pissed that Derrick Rose lived in Trump Tower. I'm sure that there's going to be something
Oh,
about why did you live there? You could have lived in Bronzeville.
yes, well,
I'm sure that if you dig deep enough, folks, you'll find the 2,000 words on why did you not live in Chatham? Why did you
ah,
why did you go to why are you living in Trump Tower?
there were other
Um
condos. There were other condos, fool. There were other
why did you
condos.
not go to Cole? Is that like Kermit over the typewriter? Why did you not live in the Viagra Triangle? Why? So there is Michael Jordan. It's funny that you brought him up. Michael Jordan. You'll love this story because we love our people. We love our family. Michael Jordan's doing something to honor his mom. He's giving $10 million to a North Carolina regional medical center in honor of his mom. The six-time NBA champion is now a businessman. Announced the gift to Novant Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center in Wilmington, North Carolina. With a
Hmm.
donation, the medical center will name its neuroscience institute after Dolores Jordan. Jordan said, "My mother taught me the importance of compassion and community. I can't think of a better way to honor her than by helping to ensure those in need that can obtain the most advanced neurological care available." And he finished his quote by saying, "And I took it personally." No, he did not say I took it personally. He was not trying to check his mom. He was actually trying to honor his mom in this case. So a medical center in her name.
Now that's pretty cool. This is like the third or fourth medical center he's opened up in North Carolina.
Mhm.
He's also opened up a number of boys and girls clubs or community centers in North Carolina and here in Chicago. So yeah, kudos to MJ, for honoring his mother that way. That was pretty special. That's a pretty special thing to do. That his mother's legacy, will live on, in that medical center. So yeah, kudos MJ. Good looking.
Lastly, sir, and I appreciate your time. If you've been watching Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, and we're presented, by the way, by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org is where you go. I'm going to have a special event on Thursday. There it is right there on Thursday. 19 South Wabash Avenue, 6:30. Cigars will be flowing. Spirits will be flowing as well as I get a chance to talk and do a special off the air thanks to Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago on Thursday, 6:30. If you're in the area in downtown Chicago, please stop by. We're going to have a good time on for happy hour on Thursday. So if you've been watching Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, sir, we've had a theme, a thread, as the kids say,
Mhm.
regarding Harold's Chicken. So we asked our buddy Ken Davis, who does our Bears previews on Fridays, cousin Wiley. We talked about this. It's all from Threads, by the way. I don't know if you've seen
Mhm.
this. This is all from
I have.
Threads. Yeah, so you saw this, right? Okay, so you're
Yes.
familiar with this. Did we talk about this yet?
I don't
Did
think
we talk
so.
about this? Okay, so you're next. Okay,
All
wait
right.
till I talk to Darius Brockett from Maryland. You have no idea. We do our college football. He'll have no idea what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
young man from Sirius XM. When I ask him, but I will ask you, sir. Um, what is the best Harold's Chicken spot in the Chicagoland area that you have experienced?
I mean, growing up for me, it was 87th and the Dan Ryan. I know it's no longer there, but that was the spot to get my Heralds. I mean, 53rd and Woodlawn was cool too. You know, if you happen to be over in the Hyde Park area.
Hmm,
But yeah, me being from the South Side, it was always 87th is where I got my Heralds.
okay,
Five piece fried heart mouse sauce.
okay. So, do you get a chance to get into the city at all to be able to experience that? Because that's nowhere near you are with where you are right now at the CTJ Report headquarters. There's no
No,
Heralds nearby where you are.
I mean there are a couple of spots, but they don't have bulletproof glass on them, so I don't trust it.
Ha ha ha! Aha.
Yeah.
So cousin Wiley says 103rd and Halsted. Um, so that's his spot. Ken Davis, I think he agrees with you. There is a Harold's on 87th and
Mhm.
the Dan Ryan, but it's connected to the Shell
Yeah.
on the corner there. You see, it's connected to the Shell, but it's like a Harold's Express. It's what I'll just put it this way: they moved the location from where it was in
Mhm.
that mall. You're talking about that
Yeah.
mall, right? That mall
The
area.
mall
Okay, so
area. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that was a great spot. There's no question. That was like my second or third spot, 87th. So originally it was oh gosh, it was on Stony. It was 88th and Stony, 89th and Stony Island was the
Yeah. I
original
know that
that I
one.
recall.
Yeah.
Okay, next to there's a library there, like
Mhm.
Kenwood Liquors, like it's all
Yeah.
connected, right? That's what
Yeah.
I remember as a kid. That was our preeminent spot as a kid. And then it was Crazy Howard McGee, still in the air, by the way. Crazy Howard McGee and his Harold's Chicken. I was just pissed at him because I would say I would knock on the window and there is Howard McGee on the show, just like talking to himself. And I'm just like, Howard, y'all need to open up before the Bears game. Like don't open at noon, open at 11. So that way it's
Right.
ready for noon. Like I never understood that. But Howard had his Harold's Chicken over there. But to me, if I'm going to have it, I mentioned to Wiley that it is 79th and Cottage is a spot
Mm.
over there. It's 79th and Cottage. And of course, 79th and Cottage, Grubhub, because Jay Hood's not going over there anytime soon. Not going over there. Now, I'm not going to be a walk-in. Okay. So I'm not walking in. Listen, man, all respect to 79th and Cottage, but I do know that there is a funeral home right across the
Mhm.
street. I'm not trying to be in there. And I know the
Mhm.
Leak family, but I'm not going in there to AR Leaks because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get chicken. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. Now here's the thing about 103rd and Halsted, which was about maybe 4 or 5, maybe about 6 blocks from where I lived on the South Side.
Hmm.
It was cool. It was good. But the occasional car crash, what happened where a car just goes careening in through the glass on 103rd and Halsted. That happened at least once every, I don't know, couple of years.
Yeah.
Typically around New Year's, where there's the old car going through the glass window, and now they got to board it up. So yeah, that made my mother trust it a little less.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Makes
yeah, for
sense.
me, yeah, but 103rd, that was a cool spot as well. But I'm still rocking with 87 Dan Ryan.
Tell us about all the places that people can find your commentary and your thoughts on social media.
Yep. YouTube, I'm really trying to get that one going. As you'll probably see more posts on YouTube. TikTok,
Yes.
you can find me on TikTok as well. Threads. I've kind of gotten back into the groove with Threads. Um, giving my Bears thoughts on Sundays. So yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky every now and then, and as well as Threads. I'm trying not to stay. I'm trying to stay away from X because that thing is just a cesspool.
Yes, you found me on Threads, so you know that where I put all my intimate Bears thoughts
Yeah,
on Threads. I have that's my notebook to
yeah.
be able to chart Caleb Williams plays and inaccuracies and great plays, all
Mm-hmm.
those things. Because I referred to that on the Cap and J Hood morning show on ESPN Chicago. It's kind of like my notebook to be able to write down certain things. Because when you get older, you forget about certain plays, and we got to talk about the Bears for 15 plus hours, including under the hood. You got to make sure you have your notes ready. So that's why I use
Yeah,
Threads for that, sir.
absolutely. Not
So,
Threads is turning out to be the spot.
sir, as always, I appreciate your time. It's good to talk Bulls and NBA with you, especially the Michael Jordan story. There he is, the GOAT. There he is.
Don't
Where's
say
my
that too loud. The LeBron fans are gonna come for you. Just
LeBron's got
saying.
to decide whether or not he wants to play or not.
Now, get in the gym, LeBron. I said
You know
before the
what?
season.
I know that sounds bad. Not missing him. He don't have to really come back for me until Christmas. Rest.
No,
It's a
no.
stretch run. Like you don't have to worry about the cups and like the you have to worry about the championship like in season. Rest. Come back on Christmas and then see what you could do. Team's playing
Yeah,
decent without him.
yeah. Luca's balling right now. Early
Sure.
MVP conversation. So yeah, LeBron doesn't need to rush back in anytime soon. Luca's got it, but you know how LeBron works.
Well, right. Like you, you're fine, man. Like the Lakers right now, and I don't look at the standings very closely, but until Christmas. But right now, 10-4 without you, they're fine. you, you, you don't have to rush back. It's all
Mm,
good.
no, they're good. I think he wants to play, but at the same time, he's 40. He is 40 now. Uh,
Yeah.
Like if there was ever a case for load management, that's the case.
Well,
You're
yeah. When
40-year-old
you're that
superstar.
age, yeah. Okay. I just want you to just think about this, and we're gonna pick next time we talk NBA. We're gonna bring this up as a topic, but I'm just bringing it up right now for you to think about. I heard the Hoop Collective podcast, which is a really good podcast with Brian Windhorst. It's more relaxed Windhorst. It's not TV Windhorst. He's just kind of
Mhm.
going through his checklist of notes that he's heard, and him and Tim Bontemps and McMahon is on there as well. Covers like the Texas beat, like Houston, Dallas, San
Okay.
Antonio. He's that guy, kind of a Western Conference, beat guy in Texas and in the Southeast, New Orleans, all that. So they said something that I thought was striking that I think that we had to bring up. And they said that Kevin Durant is the best pure scorer in the history of the league because he's still doing it in year
Yeah.
19. It's kind of
Mhm.
crazy that Iceberg Slim, is doing this at this particular time. He's had some injuries here or there in his career, but CJ, like, it's amazing that the way he shoots the basketball with that pure shot, can
Mhm.
take it to the rim, knock it down from three. Not the defender he once was. You saw opening
Yeah.
night. I mean, he was like a step slow.
No.
Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have it quite like that, but the arms and the length is still there. But
Mhm.
as far as scores, we're going to talk about this as far as some of the best scorers over the last 10 years and like where's
Mm.
Durant going? Because one guy on the podcast like, yeah, you can catch Kareem. I'm like, nah, you ain't catching Kareem. LeBron did.
Yeah.
LeBron did, but I'm not sure if Durant will do that. But we need to talk about this.
Yeah. Because that's an interesting one. Best pure score. Because that's going to involve a lot of people over the history of the league. And just names are just popping in right now. Carmelo,
Yes,
you know, uh, I mean, Jordan,
I mean, sure, but
Bernard,
like
Bernard King, you know,
that's
uh,
why like to remind me. But next time we talk,
yeah,
that's going to have to be a topic because I just real quickly. So it's early, but he's averaging 26 points a game, like in season 19. So he had 35 against Orlando. He had 30 against Portland. He had 31 against Milwaukee, 23 against Washington, 24 against San Antonio. You would think he's slowing down, but he's not. So I don't know how that works. But I
Yeah,
mean, when you still put up 35 pieces on dudes, like, okay, pretty good.
yeah. You look at a Kevin Durant, and then you see how he plays the game and how he's able to score, how he's able to get to his spots. He said shoot from inside, from outside. It almost looks effortless with him. And there are very, very few players when they have the ball in his hands and the scoring just looks effortless. Some players, I love Allen Iverson. I loved Allen Iverson,
Yeah.
but you see he worked, for his 35 points. Like that was a war of attrition for him. That's not like that with Kevin Durant. It feels and looks effortless. Like he could just get that anytime he wants it.
So next time we talk, I'm going to look for your list, sir, and see where Durant is amongst some of the best pure scorers, say, in the last 10 years, because he's 37 and still doing it. It's crazy. We're
Yeah.
presented by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. We hope that you get a chance to like, share, and subscribe and comment to our topics of conversation on the NBA and the Bulls. As always, we appreciate you checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody.